Man, come on. Come on. All right, we back. We are back like we really never left. It's time to set the tone, right? So, I've been noticing sometimes in adulthood, like life can go in many different directions, right? And over these past few months, I've just been soaking up so much knowledge, so much information, so much wisdom, so much insight just about my next steps in life, my next chapter in life, and where I'm going, right? Gaining clarity, gaining insight. So we're about to set the tone on today. And today I wanted to really talk about 3 things to expect from therapy, right? 3 things, this is not a gang sign, chill out. 3 things to expect from therapy. So I am a licensed therapist, and I also experience therapy as well. I've been on the other side of the fence of receiving therapy because as I was providing therapy to other people, that was a little overwhelming. I ain't gonna cap. Like, it was low-key overwhelming. It was low-key a lot because I started becoming a therapist at 24 years of age. Straight out of college, my guy. Straight out of college. And that was really not the most seamless thing to do. And of course, God, support, family, friends guided me into being the best therapist that I can be. And I can honestly say I have so many gems to drop as far as what to expect from therapy. So I started at 24 providing therapy, a licensed therapist here in North Carolina. And it's honestly been an eye-opening experience. I've been processing people with relationship breakups, relationship conflict, depression, anxiety, burnout, stress. I've talked to professionals. I've talked to people who have little to nothing, people who are wealthy, people who are rich, people who are entrepreneurs, business owners, all walks of life, black, white, Indian, mixed, Chinese. I talk to them all, you know, and it's really have been a privilege. It has been a very much of a privilege to be in the face of other individuals and that trust me with that information, right? So first of all, therapists get paid a good amount of money. Or maybe it's just me, being that I was 24, but I would definitely say like therapists get paid a good amount of money for the work they do. So in the way of therapy is like, as a therapist, I set my own schedule. I work with clients of whom I want to work with, and I see around 20 to 25 people a week. Now, that was last year. I'm no longer doing that, right? And we're going to talk about what I'm currently doing in a later video, but I'm no longer doing clinical counseling in private practice, but it was definitely fun while I enjoyed it. As a therapist, I would say the biggest gem for me is to be able to connect to others. There has been times where I've been processing with another person that I don't even know, and I myself will feel emotions within my body. Like, I myself would feel emotions arising in my body. I will feel tingling sensations. I will feel the tears flowing in my eyes, about to cry, thinking to myself like, why am I about to cry? Like, you know, but the tears would never come. It was just the emotion in itself becoming so intense because the connection was there, you know. And then I realized like, yo, I actually connect to people well. I actually provide empathy very well. So in therapy, as a therapist, 3 things to expect. One of which you can expect to gain some clarity. Whatever situation that you're in, you can be feeling depressed, you can be feeling stuck in life, you can be feeling hopeless, or you can feel like no one really supports you. I know a common one is anxiety, right? Your thought life becoming so overwhelming that you really don't know how to manage it. Thoughts begin to become very, very intrusive. So you can expect to gain some clarity in therapy because you are going to be working with a mutual person who is unbiased, meaning they don't have any hidden agenda, they don't know you personally, so they are looking at you from the person you are showing up as. They don't know your childhood, they don't have any room to judge you because they are meeting you in front of you at that given time, right? So helping that person gain clarity, I was a mirror to my clients. Meaning clients will tell me something that they're experiencing and I will reflect that perspective with them from a higher thought life. Like I would shift their perspective into thinking like, oh, I don't feel like I'm doing anything in my life. I don't feel motivated. I feel like I'm behind. And my perspective shift would be, so you're telling me that you feel like you are behind in life because lack of motivation. What are you wanting to do in your life, right? Let's create some direction. Anytime there's some stagnation, there might not be a sense of direction implemented in your life. Because if you have direction, your brain and your body will want to gravitate towards that flow, right? So clarity really is like a mirror for the client and the therapist, and you really gain the sense of clarity as you really open up. As you open up, as you become vulnerable, as you really express yourself, right? So therapy allows you to gain clarity in your thoughts, clarity in your emotions, clarity in your relationships, clarity in even your finances, my guy. Like even your finances, therapists really help you process finances. I'm telling you, this is an emotional game. Life is an emotional game. Once you gather your emotions, once you manage those, then you can do anything you please in your life. Anything. Because then you'll know the cues of when to rest and when to be productive. You'll know the cues of when to work on yourself and when to take the day off. You will know the cues into when to communicate with your partner and when to just let it slide. Because you'll understand emotions. When you understand your emotions, you understand other people's emotions. This is $1 million masterclass, all for the free. So the second thing to expect while you're in the processing of therapy, self-awareness and vulnerability. I know those are two separate concepts, but they blend in. When you're self-aware, you're now vulnerable with yourself, right? So if I'm in an argument with someone and I realize I feel away because that person called me out of my name, if I bring my self-awareness into it, okay, I'm aware that it affected me because I thought more of that person. My expectation of that person was high and they let me down by calling me that name. So when I'm aware of why I feel the way I feel, I'm now opening up a realm of vulnerability. I'm now being vulnerable with myself and the emotion that I feel, and I can help myself process what I feel just by being aware of it. Because oftentimes we're not even aware of what's going on internally, right? Until somebody else is pointing it out. And then sometimes we tend to avoid the feeling. Let me tell you something. When you avoid feeling and emotions, that's the worst thing you can do because you're allowing the emotions to build up in your body. Don't do that. Don't do that. You're allowing the emotions to build up in your body, and that's just not healthy. It creates dis-ease. It creates sickness. It creates anger. It creates so much imbalance in your system, your nervous system, to the extent where you look up and you wonder what's going on. It's all from that experience that you have yet to process. So self-awareness and vulnerability will really open up the door for you to move forward and thrive in your life no matter what. We setting the tone. Let's get this. We setting the tone. Lastly, a third thing to expect in therapy is support. You know, sometimes friends are supportive. Sometimes family members are supportive. However, when you are in therapy, you are in front of a professional who is supporting you from a non-biased perspective. Somebody who supports the good, the bad, the neutral. You can tell your therapist, you should be able to tell your therapist anything. That's how you know you have a great relationship with your therapist. If you can tell them anything, if you can share with them anything, you have a great relationship with them. So you feeling supported, and when you feel supported, you open it up. You sharing yourself. When I was in therapy, I started to feel support, genuine support for the first time, right? Because I'm wired to just do everything by myself. Like I be having support around me, but I've been wired to just do things independently. And if I absolutely need support, then I will reach out. So you are in this chair and you're receiving that support, and it just feels relieving. Like it feels amazing. It feels amazing. So the fact that you will gain clarity, self-awareness, vulnerability, and support in the face of therapy, that should be all reason to locate a therapist. Now, finding a therapist, I know as a therapist, I was in high demand. A lot of people have wanted to see me because of my physical appearance of being a black male, right? Therapists, the therapy realm, psychologists, they're all dominated by a white female. And now it's becoming more integrated into other walks of life. It's highly sought out, especially since the pandemic started. And to be honest, there are websites that you can go to that I'm going to be dropping below in the link, in the info, that you can click on and that you can browse for a suitable therapist or life coach. Right? Therapist is really to process your emotions. Life coaches are to help you accomplish a goal. So in the realm of therapy, understanding your emotions, processing your emotions is going to be greatly benefiting to you. 3 things to expect from therapy, right? From a therapist perspective to you guys, and from a client, as I was a client as well. Those are the things that I received as a therapist, and it was mutual on both ends. Therapy is a great tool, a great skill. If you have insurance, you have every right to locate a therapist. If it's self-pay, there are people who are willing to work on a sliding scale, which means they will work with your income. I don't know too much information about it, but there's an option out there. So for some of you who are wanting to work on yourself, I encourage you to look for therapy, right? It's becoming more known and talked about. You're not crazy, you're not weird, you're not any of that. You are really determined to work on yourself. And I'm supporting you to do so. I hope this video was helpful and insightful, and we setting the tone, elevated thinking. Let's get it.